Today we're gonna make brown butter brownies. It is one of my favorite brownie recipes of all time. It is not the easiest recipe to pull together. It's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of timing and a few steps. If you want an easy one, there's a 1-bowl brownie recipe up there. Super easy to pull together. But this one has like a beautiful fudgy interior and like a nice crispy top. And the brown butter just gives it this beautiful nuttiness, and it's just, oh, these brownies are everything. Everything. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button below and click the bell icon to be notified each time I post a new and delicious recipe. Let's get into it. So this is not obviously the easiest brownie. There's some steps, some things that have to be done, but she's worth it. Know that. We are going to start browning our butter. It's a brown butter brownie. So that requires, you guessed it, browning the butter. So I've got my butter in a pot. A larger pot would have been a better choice, but we're in it now and I don't feel like changing it. So we're gonna go ahead and turn that on medium and just let that start melting, because you gotta melt before the solids will brown. So we are gonna take our brown butter and pour it over our chocolate. Yes, I know. And basically make, we're gonna whisk those together. It's not gonna emulsify because it's not the point. But it is gonna melt our chocolate, and it's gonna become this like brown butter chocolatey situation that is just like you wanna swim in it. Just me, possibly. Anyway, now that I've told you all about that, we are gonna whisk together our dry ingredients. So I've got AP flour here. I have cocoa powder. You can use Dutch processed or not, depending on what you have. I've got a mix of both. I'm gonna go ahead and blame the city, per usual, in my grocery store. So kosher salt and baking powder. I'm gonna use this whisk because it's not that serious, and I'm gonna whisk those together. Give your butter a stir or a shake every now and again. Just kind of make sure it's melting nicely and not prematurely burning. And then our next step is we're going to prepare a pan. You can line your pan. I'm going to bake this in an 8x8. You could use a 9x9. They're going to be a little thinner, as logic would tell you. You can also do this in a quarter sheet tray, which is like, like a small jelly roll pan. A spray. Generously. Oh, we hear our butter. She's here. If you stir your butter while it's browning, you will get a nicer, more even brown product. But honestly, I know we are busy and we don't always have the time for that, so it'll be fine if you don't. Okay? Now, while that's going, what we're gonna do is we're going to make a whole egg foam. You're like, what now? I know. Fancy words. So we're gonna put all of our eggs, and they're whole, right, in a stand mixer bowl. And then we are going to add our sugar. And we're gonna beat that with the whisk until it is light and fluffy and hits what's called ribbon stage, which I'll show you when we get there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. Check on my butter. Just gonna turn that down for just a second so you can see what's happening. So my butter has decided to start browning. And so I'm going to take that, my butter, which is nicely browned, and I'm going to pour it over top of my chocolate. And I'm going to scrape all those nice burned bits, the brown bits from the bottom and the sides, and I'm going to get that into my chocolate. And then we're going to let that sit. We're going to let the butter melt the chocolate, and then we don't have to do any more work. Boom. Okay, you're done. Long enough, I'm going to go ahead and stir my chocolate and just kind of make sure it all melts and it all becomes kind of homogeneous. It's not going to emulsify or anything. There's way too much oil for that. So just go ahead and just stir it so that it kind of all melts together. Alright, so our eggs have gotten extra light and fluffy, and they've tripled in volume, and you can kind of pull and draw a ribbon across the top, and it holds its line just before falling. So that's what's called ribbon stage, where you kind of like are able to, pull the egg sugar mixture across itself, and it won't just fall immediately. So pull that up. And we are going to slowly add our chocolate butter mixture to our sugar mixture. You want to make sure you do it while it's whisking, especially if your chocolate is still warm, because you don't want to, cook your eggs or anything like that. Make sure you get all that last little bit, because that's some of the brown bits, that's some of the flavor. You want to get that in there. Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and pour my vanilla in. Nice. Show you what I've got in my bowl here, because we are going to basically just fold in our dry. We've got this nice kind of beautiful, I don't know, fluff. And now we're going to fold in our dry ingredients. Just put it all in there, and then go ahead and give that a nice fold. She is folded, she is lovely, and we're going to put her in our prepared dish. All right, get this in here. Ooh, yeah. That's going to make a thick brownie. Love it. Could you put this in a 9 by 9? Maybe even a thin 9 by 11? Yes. Yes, you could. Yeah. All right. Now that I'm starving, I'm gonna go ahead and spread this out-ish. I mean, it's not gonna spread out nicely with my spatula that I have here, but she's also thick because the cold eggs and the chocolate, it stiffens it. It's a whole thing. But let's just give it a try, just in case. Oh, yum. All right, now we're gonna put her in the preheated oven now that I just had a moment with my brownie batter. Preheated at 325. We're gonna pop her in, and she's probably gonna, she's Chubbs, okay? So it's probably gonna bake close to 30 minutes. It's also in a ceramic dish, which is gonna bake longer than a metal dish. These are the things that we know and we think about, and we just kind of set a timer and watch. She's out. So it baked about 30 minutes because it's so fat and in a ceramic dish. So I did poke it, and then that doesn't really tell you a ton with this because it's mostly chocolate and not a lot of flour, but what it does do is kind of poke a hole so you can see that the crumb has kind of risen and that it's set in there. So we need to let this cool completely before we cut it. Sadly, I'm going to run a knife around the outside just to free it, especially since we didn't line this pan. But I'm excited. It smells amazing in here right now. Yes. That's it. We've done it. We've allowed it to cool, and it is time to try my favorite part. So let's grab a knife and dig in, shall we? But because we didn't line this, I'm not going to try and pull her out. I think you could if you let her, you want to put this in the fridge, let it chill completely, and then you can pull the whole thing out if you want to cut it that way. But we didn't line it, so we don't get to have that option immediately. Oh yeah, it's going to be so fudgy. So fudgy. Maybe I should let it cool just a little bit more, but... Oh. Do you see this fudge situation that's occurring? It's perfectly baked. It is chewy and soft and with a beautiful thick crust on the top from that egg foam that we made. Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot wait to dive in here. Wow. It's large and in charge, and I'm here for it. It is chewy and fudgy and soft and perfectly baked. I mean, it's almost in some ways like a meringue on top. It's not, but it has that crunchy texture to it, the chewy inside, and I'm dying of happiness. You're witnessing it right now. Just all of my dreams are coming true. Yum.